Welcome to episode 1 of the podcast that I'm making.
We need a name.
This is fucking shitty as hell.
This is shitty as hell.
But once we get into the swing of it, it'll get better because...
Well, probably.
Hopefully.
Ideally?
Ideally?
I would figure that podcasts are just sort of a thing. Like, they're automatically awkward at the start because you're like, we're doing a podcast and we're talking into a microphone now about something.
Yeah, because in the beginning you're so aware of it. You're just, we're two guys sitting here with a microphone. But I feel like once you get into it, then you actually start talking about stuff.
I have to crack it because we're totally entering like we're trying to do this ironically mode because that's the natural thing you do when you're awkwardly doing something for the first time. And you start to try to portray it as irony. But I'm breathing.
But I mean that's bad too. That's so overplayed because everyone tries to do that. Oh, we're unique because we're self-aware of our
stop doing it.
Of our trappings of falling into.
Stop it!
God damn it.
I think me and my little brother have talked about getting a podcast just because we have weird conversations, and I think I can't remember.
What can you? No, keep talking.
No,
we're recording.
Okay. There was actually like fuck, I can't remember. We were talking about it, and I was like, no, I wanted to and I thought of this, and it was incredibly stupid, but I was like, the pun is worth it, and I was like, if I ever make a podcast, I want to call it As Much as the Next Guy, and then I would say, now I like this as much as the next guy at the beginning of any statement I made. And then just go into describing my opinion. And I was like, this is the stupidest shit ever, but it is worth it because the pun is just, I have to do it. You know that? You know that. Everyone knows that.
Okay.
I have a pun and I recognize it as terrible because it is a pun, but I have to do it because I thought of it and it is a pun, damn it.
Okay, I thought of our first topic. We're going to talk about Pokemon.
Okay. Actually, yeah, that's a completely worthy topic.
Yeah.
Especially
because with the recent announcement of Pokemon X and Y, I feel that it's a valid topic.
Yes. Well, anything's a valid topic. This is the fucking internet. We could talk about, like, I don't know, anything.
Cats. We could talk about cats for an hour.
I think that's actually the least valid topic we could possibly pick.
No, it's the fucking internet. Everyone would... People love that shit.
Well, I know everyone... Like, yes. This would become the most inane podcast ever as soon as we started talking about cats.
So there's calicos and there's
cats. There's not fucking in this podcast, especially not in the context of cats.
Fair enough. Anyway, Pokemon.
Pokemon, yeah. We were going to talk about it.
We were going to talk about Pokemon.
Are probably assuming that we get there. Where should we start here?
Where do you start?
Pokemon.
Okay.
We could try to be. We could be complete. Well, there's of course the whole like animal cruelty shit, but that's been so overdone. It's been so.
You saw the PETA thing, right?
Yes.
Also,
Pokemon
did you
play that?
Yeah,
I actually played that.
I did too.
It's funny because my full response was just, "This is a bad game because you can't tell what attacks are effective."
Exactly.
No, did you actually have that? Like, I seriously had a moment where I was just like, this is a poorly designed game. I feel like PETA wasn't trying to make a well-balanced game.
They weren't... well, fair enough. They weren't trying. They're PETA. They don't try to make well-balanced anything.
Well, I know, but I mean, I had, like, a sincere moment of just, I know this is PETA.
I did not make it that far. I made it to, like, I made it through the first battle, like, against Charon or whatever.
Yeah, half of your moves are just, like... Half of your moves don't work because it's just like, well, they work, but it's like, I don't know what this does because it's just like a thing used as a form of protest. I don't know what type that is and whether this guy wearing a cape made out of Pokemon skins is.
Did they even tell you like how much damage it would do? Like
nope. You don't get power stats. You get PP, but that doesn't help because like 5 PP moves, which are supposed to be like ridiculous, are just like. I think there was one that was just like, sharply raises attack, or like, it made them feel bad or something, and I was like, what does that status do? Could you inform me?
You know what we could do is we could actually play the game while we're recording and talk about it.
Do that. I'm going to talk on other points just because, like, cruelty in Pokemon is so over-discussed that the latest game, like Black and White, literally had that as like a main plot point.
Hold on, let's
like,
see if I can get... That
was the main plot. The villainous organization... Well, I mean, besides getting the badges, but that's not really a plot. That's just Pokemon.
I know I have screen
Pokemon.
recording software.
You should grab it. You don't really need to.
I know.
You could just kind of be like, go play the game. You know what it is.
Yeah, so just Google, like,
Black and
Pokemon, Pokemon Black and Blue.
Pokemon Black and Blue, you'll find it. It's...
Gotta free them all. Okay, now, but the funny thing is, Team Plasma were such fucking hypocrites, because... They were all for freeing Pokemon, but then they fought you with Pokemon.
I can't take this seriously, but you keep going into your like serious conversational tone.
No.
I know though. Like, yeah.
Plasma were hypocrites because you want people to free their Pokemon. Why are you fighting them with Pokemon that's...
Fight them with guns like real civilized people.
No, but I mean, it's not like, It's not like people who protest, like, it's not like people for gun control go take assault rifles and, like, start shooting to
prove a point. That's not what they do, yeah.
Okay, play. Pokemon Black and Blue. As battling Pokemon grew in popularity, generations of children were growing up believing that Pokemon exist for no other reasons than to be used and abused by humans.
I'm pretty sure the show literally, like, addresses this. Like, every...
Don't they? Like,
no, like...
Because they're always like, Pokemon are our friends.
Pokemon are our friends.
Children learned about dominance instead of compassion. While Pokemon faced the worst abuses, children also started bullying each other. But they didn't?
Do they?
I don't until one Pokemon decided he'd had enough. Go. Sharon never had a Pikachu.
Who was Sharon?
Sharon was the buddy in Black.
Was he?
Sharon was
I didn't play that
He was the rival in Black, but you don't get to name him.
Oh yeah, he's the rival guy.
He's like your friend, but he's your rival.
He's your friend rival guy.
Ironically, that's the only one that I played.
Yeah. Okay, we're
ready to fight.
We know about Pokemon because it's Pokemon and everyone knows about Pokemon.
Everyone knows about Pokemon.
But like, I've played the original Red, I think Soul Silver and Diamond, and that was it. That's all I've played for Pokemon.
Okay, so I'm guessing they're showing types like the gray is neutral, the yellow is obviously
they show types,
electric. But what's the pink with the bunny? What type is that?
The pink ones are all protest shit, but you don't know what type they are, and you also don't know the type the enemy is.
What type?
What type meaningless.
Is Sharon?
It's meaningless entirely. And I wouldn't mind this. I'd just be like, it's a protest game. Except for the thing is, the game literally tells you to use effective attacks. Like, it is literally like, that is how this game design works, but then it's not in the game design.
I don't know. Let's use Thundershock.
It's like if a tutorial said, use your gun, and then you didn't get a gun. Like, that was like the base of a tutorial was teaching you how to shoot, and then a game was like all melee combat based until like the second half.
Pikachu uses protest. Pikachu beat down on Sharon with some powerful words. Sharon's attack fell.
Yeah, a 5 PP move lowers attack. Good. Great design right there. It's positive design.
I don't know. Let's do quick attack.
Either way, though, I'm just going to kind of ignore Owen playing that unless he comes across something hilarious, in which case he'll undoubtedly speak up. But the point is, that's been discussed to death. I'm actually, I think what has been less discussed is problems with Pokemon, because no one talks about problems with Pokemon, because it's Pokemon.
Everyone has this sort of idea that Pokemon cannot be criticized because it's, like, nostalgic part of their childhood or whatever. But we've seen that changing. We've seen that changing in the past few years. Like, the recent Pokemon entries have gotten lower ratings from people, but people still buy them in droves and talk about how amazing they are.
And the main reason, I think the biggest criticism of Pokemon is just kind of like, shit does not change.
If Pikachu is trapped, how come I can attack?
I don't know, Owen. You shoot lightning through the bars.
Group hug?
I'm just gonna hug you. That'll make you feel bad.
Oh, and again, it only lowered defense.
Well, it would lower defense, but you couldn't move while hugging them. No, just think about it. Like, if you're hugging someone, they'd be like, I can't guard. He's awkwardly wrapped his limbs around me. Not that a Pikachu has long enough limbs to really even... This is so weak. I sense, like...
You don't have to walk Pokemon!
Yeah. No, they're sentient in this.
Anyway, critics of...
criticisms. People say it doesn't... The few criticism you do hear is that it doesn't change, but... and whatever, yeah, that is a fair criticism. It's the same criticism that's leveled at Call of Duty, only people care about it when it's leveled at Call of Duty, and they don't when it's Pokemon, because Pokemon is fundamentally... I'm not going to call it a better game, because really Call of Duty is not bad.
Call of Duty's not as bad as everyone makes it sound. I mean, they're all the same, but remember how much everyone loved Call of Duty 4? they haven't really gotten that much worse since then.
No, they haven't.
It's
and
just,
I still have a blast
better.
playing with friends. The thing is that, like, one, the user base sucks, especially online.
Yeah.
And two, they
oh
do.
my god, yes.
I can tell, because when I play with friends, it's like I'm beating them, and they're like, dude, I get first online all the time, and that's just like, oh.
Well, the dynamics are different in split screen anyway, because
True.
you have a lot smaller teams.
True. Also screen peeking, which just it's hard to avoid doing. Like, your subconscious mind is just like, I see them. I know that part of the map.
Nurse Joy.
I'll find them.
Anyway,
oh god, don't open the treasure chest. Ignore it. I played this.
Wait.
All they are is clips that are advertisements for PETA. Just ignore it, ignore it,
Open.
ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. Skip.
You.
Skip, you fool!
You've unlocked a bonus video. I have my computer muted so you guys won't... Oh, it's pigs.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, pigs. Oh, look
Hi,
at the doggy.
dog.
He's so cute.
It's in a cage. Obviously, to have
Foxy.
cute dogs, we should keep them in cages.
What's wrong with his arm?
I don't know.
Dear. Hi, geese.
They're not gonna...
He just bitch slapped a tiger. That's just dumb.
Bam!
Oh my god. Oh man.
Animal cruelty.
I'm bored.
Why would you bitch slap a tiger? What idiot goes like, tiger, bitch slap time. Yeah,
Pikachu.
That's a great idea. I'm sure the tiger will, like, harmlessly submit to my slap.
That doesn't look like Tepig at all from the back.
From the...
I named it...
has like an onion head.
I named it Ballsack.
It has an onion head.
Professor Juniper, I heard about what you did to Chair, and your Pokemon are up to no good, and I've come to stop you.
I think I named, like... Just for sheer, like, stupidity, not because, well, I mean, okay, whatever, just, I named them, like, Masochist and stuff. I named, like, all my Pokemon, like, Masochist, and it was just, like, or, like, stuff like that, it was just like, I'm so witty.
Pikachu.
I don't know. It's, like, a valid complaint, but at the same time... The show just kind of, like, the show and games both just sort of have, like, this, like, weirdly, like, it is friendly. It's sort of like I imagine kind of like the physical brutality of team sports with Pokemon. Just like you can't even kill them, even if you could like stab knives repeatedly into them. Even if you assume that you leave them, I imagine they're just sort of like cartoon logic-ishly impossible to like harm permanently.
Aren't Pokemon supposed to be like digital or something, and that's how you capture them in the Pokeballs?
No.
I swear I heard that.
No.
Pokemon?
No.
Well, then how do Pokeballs work?
I don't know. Okay, more importantly, and this is a complete tangent to anything we've been talking about, not that we really had a direction to begin with, since we literally decided a topic after starting. But, okay, so I watched, like, when I was a kid, I watched Pokemon the anime, or whatever.
Who didn't?
Who didn't? But, well, Digimon people, maybe.
I watched Pokemon and Digimon.
I know, but, like...
Okay, Digimon was the shit.
Shut up!
Digimon was the Pokemon. Shit.
Fine. Okay, yeah, but the point is, so my siblings, obviously, like, who are still kids after I am no longer a kid, were watching an episode, like, later. And in the episode, like, Ash and one of the billions of, like, whoever accompanied him on that season, they, like, trade Pokemon, right? Okay. So they go up to this machine, and there's 2 slots that are 3 feet away from each other. They put the Pokeballs with the Pokemon they want to trade in the slots. They both are transported into digital data and teleported 3 feet to the left and right, respectively.
Couldn't they just...
No. They had a giant, like, 5 foot by 5 foot by 2 feet, at least, like, machine specifically designed to transport Pokeballs 3 feet to the left and right. And I was sort of like, well, maybe it might register them, and that is like, otherwise, you just built a teleporter to transport tiny, spherical, lightweight, shrink-downable objects 3 feet.
Okay, here.
Like, twice. You just 3 fucking... Just, why? Why would you use the technology for that? Also, just, like... I appreciate that it might be sort of, like, humiliating or whatever, especially if, like, there's no furnishing or interior environment to a Pokeball, but, like, why would you not put humans in Pokeballs and transport them with that? Wouldn't that just be a viable means of fast transportation? Or just turning people into data and using trading systems for teleportation instead of forcing them to wander through uncharted territory full of wild, dangerous beasts that could kill them easily with magical attacks? based on like you have a Pokemon fucking breathing fire at you while you're trying to get from one city to the other, and you have teleportation machines and you don't use them.
Okay, are people Pokemon?
No.
If you threw a Pokeball at a person, would it just bounce off of them?
I honestly don't know how the rules apply, but I think they make it pretty clear that like people would actually die. Like if you just like burned a person to like alive,
so why doesn't Team Rocket ever do that? Just like fuck you, Ash, and throw a Pokeball at him.
One would actually think that like they have guns. We know they have guns. That like police carry guns. They like Team Rocket, a criminal organization, would probably whip out the guns or just order their Pokemon to attack the trainers and then take the Pokeballs from their charred corpses.
Oh man, though. Fuck, I had something I was gonna say. Why do they all have like basically the same attacks?
No, I know. No, that like this game has no variation, and you can't tell what the variation means.
Jesus, look at his PP on these attacks. 5, 5, 3, 5.
An attack has 3 PP. That's not even a thing in the games. That's why that's funny. You could.
I threw a sign at her.
It's literally like, check out this densely worded letter of complaint. I'm gonna throw it at you. It's like throwing like a dense novel, only like you wrote a complaint out and then threw it at the people.
This is so boring.
Like, no, it's really boring. It's like hard to.
It doesn't even do anything. Okay, Snivy. What would Snivy?
You could get Masiga.
Fuckface.
Fuckface, good. Yes.
Ballsack. Fuckface. Join us on our mission.
Fuckface. Join us in our mission to free and emancipate these fellow Pokemon. I don't know what.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Okay, anyway, though, like, oh man, we were totally going somewhere, and then we completely ignored that topic and switched over to other shit. But
who gives a shit?
No one gives a shit. I don't even know who's listening to this, or who will, or whatever. But
yeah.
Okay. Other base criticisms of Pokemon, though. One, I mean, like, you get attached to your Pokemon automatically because you'll just, like, develop a stupid kind of infantile pride in their performance, even though you're, like, consciously aware this is a bit of data. But they could really expand on that feature, and they never do. Like, when they added, I can't remember the game, but when I think it was Soul Silver and whatever the hell the other one was called in that.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They had your lead Pokemon follow you around, and I was just like, I'm bonding with them.
It's just small things, and you never see that again.
No.
Like, I mean, that was in Pokemon Yellow because you had the Pikachu, and then it was in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, sort of a throwback, but it was never used anywhere else.
Tragically, Pokemon Yellow is okay, like, was that Pikachu extra? I never played that. Was it, like, extra badass, or was it just, like, it's the only lightning type? Because really, in that game even, but in later generations especially, Pikachu's not that great. It's like a
They probably just threw it in because the anime kids would see the anime and be like, I want a Pikachu.
Well, so. I know. It's like, it's an extension of the anime, and that's why it doesn't have a ball in that game.
But
it's just because it's like, oh, that was like a thing in the anime. Did you see the anime, kids? We know you saw the anime.
Okay, so another thing about Pokemon is that everyone has been saying that the generations have been getting worse. So you'll see a bunch of people saying that like the original 150 or whatever, 151, however many there were.
I would say the designs have gotten worse.
But I feel like they haven't gotten that much worse than they really were in the beginning. I feel it's a lot more nostalgia.
Yeah.
Cause,
okay.
Like you said, you get a sort of stupid attachment to your first few Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I started at Gen 5.
Yeah.
And I had a sort of stupid attachment to the first few that I had played with, and like Kim Jong-il and stuff like that.
Classically named after the dictators of the past / present. The chest just comes out of the ground.
It's a Mudkip. Oh my fucking god! They fucking threw that fucking meme in there! You open the chest and a Mudkip comes out and it says, I heard you like Mudkips. And this is from a game...
Pokemon. That's just...
This is from a game that was released in 2012.
That's just naive.
Pikachu, the Mudkips, that was from like 2007,
Pikachu,
right?
There's going to be a Pokemon someday and you won't like them and you will be like, I was naive.
That's like saying, I like all people. And then you meet Hitler.
And it's like, ooh, I'm going to have to readjust
I'm a people person.
I'm a people person.
And then,
I'm going to have to redefine you as monster.
And then you're like in, like, Timothy McVeigh's explosion or whatever, like in the bombing, and you're just like, oh, I don't like that guy.
You're just like, I'm gonna have to redefine this.
I don't like all people. I like all people except those who murder me.
Addendum as an addendum to that statement. Just like, yeah, God, the meme. Oh, fuck the meme. You paused on the meme. You paused on the so. Do you like Mudkips with like the spelling and everything?
Mudkip bears gifts.
Desktop wallpaper.
View.
Wow. That exists. Wow.
I'm not gonna make that my desktop. I like my desktop. It's a rainbow.
But Owen, you could.
It's a rainbow.
You could do it ironically. It'd be funny.
No.
No, it wouldn't. No.
Continue. Wow. Thanks. We'll keep going now.
Oh God.
But yeah.
No, seriously. Wait. What? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Other criticisms that could easily be stated. There's like a billion other things to do in Pokemon, and they never talk about any of them.
That's one of the things that's always bothered me about them, is that when I had this discussion with a friend before Black 2 came out, and no, it was with Josh.
Oh wow, okay.
This was right before Black 2 came out, and we were talking about how, like, what the differences actually are, and he's like, no, see, man, in this one you can, like, there's like the show or whatever where you can have your Pokemon be on a TV show or something.
Yeah, or whatever.
But they keep adding little things like that, like extra little side mini games, but they don't ever add to the core experience, which hasn't really, like, the core basic gameplay mechanics have not changed since the beginning. Really.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Like, I have to get in on this because like we're talking about it now. Okay. In Diamond or whatever, at one point I just was like, okay, my team is amazing. Whatever, it's great. I'm fantastic. Beat the game, went to, I can't even remember what it's called. That's sad. That saddens me. Like Battle Island or whatever. But like they had that one place where like if you beat a bunch of competitions, you could get in. And it annoyed me because I wanted to get in, but to get in you had to beat like a ton of competitions. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But the competition thing really was like a mini game, absolutely, in like a complete, this is a mini game sense. And it had a ton of problems. Namely, just that, like, it was really luck-based, and that, like, okay, like, you could boost a Pokemon's performance in some shit, but it was, like, really minute details, and the only way to do it was eating Poffins, which took forever to make, and were really fucking annoying, and you were just like, I made another burnt Poffin, it's not worth it!
And that was, like, a minigame in itself, right? Yeah.
Yes, that was also another minigame. It's like, there's minigames, and they come, like, close to mattering, and you're like, I sort of care about this and might consider pursuing it, and then you're just like... And then maybe, like, okay, like, I sunk in, like... I actually got determined enough, because I was just like, I've done most other crap I could do, and I got determined enough, and I was just like, I'm gonna do this. I sink, like, 2 hours in, and I'm like, I'm never doing this. Ever. Like, no. No. It's not worth it. You just, like... There's no point. You're just, like, playing the minigame, and you're like, what have I done with the past hour and a half of my life?
Yeah, but a lot of Pokemon is like that. Like, like when I hear about people doing stuff like the EV training or whatever,
No, but at least that has a point, though. The competitions don't get you shit. You can't even compete with your friend in them and be like, I have defeated you in Mortal Kombat. With, like, Pokemon. I mean, like, you can't...
So it's not really mortal, then, because they just faint.
Immortal Kombat. That'd be really lame. Just, like...
Immortal Kombat.
Just stab. So, okay, neither of us are dying.
That's like Wolverine versus Wolverine.
This isn't going anywhere, okay? Can we just take a step back, maybe write up some well-worded peace treaty terms, and just kind of, go... I think that's far enough, ballsack. Okay, suddenly we're talking about the game again. Didn't you finish the last game? All that I was about was greed. Or something.
I'm so bored with this game. It's bad.
I played it's actually more fun if you're alone and you're just, like, yelling hysterically to yourself about shit that doesn't make sense. Okay, like this guy. Example, it's not very effective. He is wearing a coat made out of dried Pokemon skins. Wouldn't that shit, like, ignite, like, immediately? Just, like, and smell terrible, too?
Okay, so fire was not very effective against him, so that would mean that he's, like, a water type or,
Ground?
Ground.
Water, ground. I don't think it's effective on rock. It is effective on stiff. Oh, God. Should we just answer? Okay. Okay.
But Man, remember when I thought
halfway through?
I thought fire should be super effective against water.
Wait, what?
I thought fire should be super effective against water because you'd shoot the fireball and the water Pokemon would evaporate.
Yes.
Fire, and I tell people like that, and they're like, "No, that's stupid. That doesn't make sense." And it totally does, though, because
okay, now what would make more sense? Okay, if we're gonna get like scientific on Pokemon, just contemplate that sentence. Just stop what you're. Just contemplate science in Pokemon. Just think about it. Okay, now we're moving forward. But what would really make sense would be if it's super effective, but then you take damage too, because the fire's extinguished, but steam.
They should both. They should be super effective against each other.
Well, yeah, but okay, then you get in a light dark thing, and you're like, one of them has to trump something, or this is just like we'd throw them in a room and both would vanish and die.
Do you think there ever will be a light type?
That would be a terrible move. Okay, actually, wait though. That could be funny because the dark type isn't really. There's like a few dark attacks, and then there's like dark as in like tricky, sneaky, underhanded, pragmatic, opportunist type crap. And what would be funny would be if like they introduce a light type, and then it's like there's like 2 light-based attacks, like laser shot or whatever, and then there's like the pinnacle of honor, like.
Oh man, though,
like it'd just be like one-on-one combat.
But bite is a dark type attack.
For some reason.
I don't really get that.
So is crunch. I bit you, that's cheap.
Like,
I used one of my natural weapons that I have built into my mouth.
Exactly. I mean, if like tons of creatures bite all the time, that's not really dark. That should be like a fighting. Normal. That should be normal
Scratch
or fighting.
Scratch is normal, but bite is not. Bite is dark, and scratch is normal.
It's Pokemon.
It's Pokemon.
But I guess if we're just going to use the hand wave excuse, it's Pokemon, then we've invalidated the past half hour.
Well, yes. Really, this whole the whole point of this is that you shouldn't use the hand wave excuse. Are we gonna keep on?
Okay, if he uses,
you shouldn't
so
use the excuse.
He's an electric type. Then
is he?
You
can learn electricity if you're not, depending on the Pokemon.
But I don't know. I'm just sick of this. I think petition actually seems
universally effective.
Well, it never says super effective, but
you're getting killed, man.
I know because it just.
I shame thee.
Shamed gets this
with some hard truths. Like his cock. No, I'm just kidding. I had to. Well,
way to make this PG-13, man.
We said like fuck in like the first. No, it's not happening.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think...
Okay, other things, I, like, get that it's, like, for balance and limitation, but it's, like... Okay, speed gives you a massive advantage, especially in, like, competitive play, because just, like, if you hit first with the super effective move, the enemy's just fucked. And also, just, like, I get that it's for balancing purposes, and it, like, 4 moves, it makes you make some tough choices occasionally, and by tough choices, I mean, like, oh no, I have to let go of this less powerful attack. The only time that the 4 move set for getting another move thing matters is if you want a Pokemon to have one weird move, like Teleport, where it's useful circumstantially in the game, but not really in combat, and you're like, should I get rid of this for this? Like, should I get rid of a good combat move with PP for, like, Teleport?
Okay,
or
so
like Evil Gaze or whatever.
As sort of a more new Pokemon player, one thing that I've never really gotten is why would you not want a Pokemon to evolve? Like, you have the choice to stop them from evolving, but what would that actually...
Actually, I do know this. I got serious for a short enough time about Pokemon to actually look into this. The reason is that you learn moves way faster.
Okay.
Not evolved Pokemon, they learn moves at like a way earlier level, or like a significantly earlier level enough that you might consider the lack of stat growth worth it. And beyond that, if it's a special evolution like trading, or not normally trading, but like a stone evolution, then normally it gets cut off from learning moves entirely, or at least some of them do. Unless, like, by TM. Also, oh god, I'm so glad they made it so TMs don't wear out. That was, like, such a change they needed. It was just like, oh god. You couldn't... What are they like discs? Do you like plug it into a computer, plug your Pokemon into the computer, and go? And is it like the Matrix? And it's like now you know Kung Fu.
Yeah, it's like you stick a USB stick in your head and
in its head, and it's like
yeah.
And it's just like, I know how to bite people in the face now. I have learned this. I was never instructed in the use of my mouth up until this moment. But now I'm aware I can eat and bite things with it. This has shattered my understanding of the world. Humans could at minimum, if they had to, probably pull off like normal type fighting moves though. Like, okay, even if you presume they're super fragile, I feel like they could pull off scratching, biting, or flailing.
Yeah, I've had a couple Pokemon battles where
in your life, like versus the other guy.
The trainer's last Pokemon is down to like 2 health, but they knock out my last Pokemon, and it's like, why can't I just walk over there and kick the damn thing? It has 2 hit points left. My foot could do enough damage.
Honor, Owen. Okay, actually, on that note, I've talked about this with a friend once, but it was just like, I know you can't do it, guys who make, like, Nintendo. Like, I know you can't do this, because it's, like, just, like, no for the kids. But, like, would not it be fun to have a Pokemon game where you play a member of one of the criminal organizations, but because you're you and you're a sentient player, you're allowed to do it really competently and just, like, win? Like, you just walk into a store and they're like, hey, would you like to, and you shoot them in the face and then take the Pokeballs and run?
Like, no, an M-rated Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Okay. It would be like...
M-rated Pokemon, guys, this is a great idea, we're smart.
Or, like, you could, not, like, moral choice system in the standard way, but it would be, like you could
be
a dick evil. If you wanted to.
Dick to evil.
Like in Skyrim, there's not like a moral choice meter, but like you can be a dick or you can be good.
Dude, do you not think that there should be a game where the morality scale is always on one side, but it lets you be like range from dick to like absolute monster bathing in the blood of kittens and children mixed together?
I think there should be like a superhero game where on one the scale would go from like you could be an asshole hero to, like, a genuinely good hero. So on the one side you'd have, like, fucking Captain Hammer or whatever, and on the other side you'd have Superman.
Yeah.
And instead of having, like, the moral choice of good or evil, it would be, like, Dick good or Paragon good.
Owen, we need to talk about, at some point, we need to do a superhero podcast if we do this again, because, like, there's so much shit to be said, man.
Yeah, but
I know everyone's already said it, but there's so much shit to be said, man.
But just doing it on like the Superman is a stupid hero thing. Everyone's done Superman's a stupid hero, and no one cares, and people still continue to like Superman.
Yes, that's true.
You know, okay, Man of Steel, I'm actually excited about.
I'm not excited because I'm never excited about anything. In terms of releases, like, I really genuinely am, like, normally confused. I'm like, wait, what? Excitement? What? What's that? But, Man of Steel has intrigued me, and I'm going to use that word, intrigued. Because it's just sort of like, how will they do this?
I mean,
it's the conflict be?
Like, Zack Snyder, I hate him a lot less than a lot of other people do.
I don't hate him at all. I'm just like, hey, Zack Snyder.
I enjoy his movies. I think they're fun. And
Did you see Sucker Punch?
I never saw Sucker Punch.
Okay.
And I never saw the Guardians movie because, I mean, that just...
What? What was that?
The fucking Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
What?
Like, you know, the fucking... The owls?
The owls. Fuck, that was him?
That was Zack Snyder.
That was Zack Snyder?
And so, you know, 300 Watchmen, owl movie for children, Sucker Punch.
What?
One of these things is not like the other.
What are you talking about? The owls are totally right in there with Watchmen. I've analyzed Watchmen.
Okay, that's the thing. The Watchmen movie...
what it was all about was owls.
The Watchmen movie, though, is...
We're totally off Pokemon.
It's funny how the Watchmen movie follows the story of the comics almost exactly up until, like, the end scene, but the tone is so different.
Yeah.
Like, the comics... the comics did a really good job of sort of capturing that sort of Cold War paranoia, and you got that really seedy sense from it, and the movie, I felt, it was too slick, it was too modern.
Well, because it's Zack Snyder, that's what he does.
I felt like it took the soul out of Watchmen.
I would still say that out of, like, as movie adaptations go, it was damn solid.
I really
enjoyed
the ending though. I love the change in the ending, because.
Oh man, if any comic reader hears this,
who the fuck hasn't? Okay, yeah, I get that. That's like it might be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah,
but I really did like how they changed the ending of Watchmen for the movie because I felt that making it that it was being blamed on the blue guy, Dr. Manhattan. I felt like fuck the blue guy. I felt like making the whole disaster being blamed on Dr. Manhattan. It tied together better with how he was sort of like distant, his entire separate, growing more distant from people at the beginning. It tied more into that and brought it full circle, and it made it a bit more personal just on the cast of characters.
If I can just get in on there, what I would say to that is I agree with you that I like the change. I haven't read the comic though, so I really have to admit in this case that I can't fully defend that. But here's what I would say, and this is just from what I've heard and generally understand because I have looked up and heard the complaints. But the general thing is, okay, I heard a complaint and there was a counter argument. It was just Manhattan leaves, and I don't think people would think that they could fight him even teaming up. And I was sort of that's a fair point. I don't think he'd make as good a threat. On the other hand, the giant squid, I was sort of wouldn't they just kill it and then be we've won?
Yeah, with the giant squid, I feel like because there's no follow-up to it, one giant squid appears, crushes, I think it was New York, or...
It was a big
I haven't read it for a while,
but... A big city.
But after that, then there's nothing, and, people may join together against the evil for a while, but then it's just over, and I feel like because in the movie, Dr. Manhattan would be a more constant threat.
He immediately leaves and he's not present anymore, and they might not think they can fight him. But humanity would try, and he would be a constant overhanging threat. Again, the whole Cold War was there was no open war. There was just a constant overhanging threat, and that's what we did. We did a huge response in Paranoia. With that, it'd be the same thing, and there actually might be oh shit, we're fighting a fucking god, dude. We got it, dude, we got a band together.
Especially because Dr. Manhattan would make a much better parallel to nuclear arms.
A squid, you'd just be we shot it a lot, and it fell over.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. We've killed it. Seafood for everyone.
Let's go home. We can go back to hating each other now.
We can go back to hating each other now. Thanks for the help, man. It was cool. Maybe do this again next time a giant alien invasion seems to be possibly happening.
Ozymandias had the worst password security ever.
Oh, God, yes. It's just dude.
He made his password literally the alternate name of his hero character. His password was Ramses 2. And that's sitting on the title of the book right there. That's how Night Owl guesses it. It's on the spine of the book. And
they literally go in and they're we don't know shit about this guy. And he's what in this room could give me his password?
Here.
I'm just going to go through 3 tries. And then he sees a book and he's here. Maybe that Egyptian shit he was fascinated with has to do with this. I shall deduce his password. And then he does. And it's oh, he figured it out. That seemed really hard.
Okay, that's at the end.
I admit, I'm not a puzzle gamer, good at that sort of direct deduction type thing. I can logically think through things, but I'm not great at deduction, admittedly. I don't know why. But just, you'd figure it out. You'd be this guy really likes Egyptian stuff. He seems to really, really like Egyptian stuff. It's everywhere in his character. Interests... His room, his name, basically everything.
Here, right here. This is the password scene.
Password.
Yeah, so he just Wait, yeah, what was... Yeah, okay, the fucking computer says password incomplete. He tries Ramses, and it says,
The computer's
the computer
password
says password incomplete.
What?
That's the worst computer security ever.
He literally, Ozymandias went, and he was what if I forget to type the 2? I gotta add a reminder. And he added coding so that the computer would be like, password incomplete. If he just said Ramses or like RAM. If he just said RAM, it'd be like, password incomplete. And that sort of defeats the purpose of a password if it like, okay, not completely, because it's like you still have to be going in that direction to figure it out, but it's like, well, technically, couldn't it just assume that the password was incomplete if you just typed in the letter like E? Like you type in E and it's like E's in Ramses.
Okay, yeah, or like
complete.
I guess like if you started, you'd have to just be like A, nope, B, nope, C, and then you get to R and it's like, oh, password incomplete. You could just
if you knew
force it literally from there, just trying them one at a time until it said you've got the password. That is,
yes,
that's so weak.
It is. Honestly, that's actually probably one of the weakest spots. Or just like, and it's just like, this guy's a super genius. Like, has he never been on the internet before? Did he not have any little siblings to like? Well, I don't think he did. I mean,
and then it's like he's keeping like just behind that one super easy to guess password. He's keeping all this. Okay, I guess the argument could be made that he wanted them to find it.
Yes, that could be made.
That
he did like appreciate them and sincerely not seem to be like he was doing something, but it was like he did like value his old thing.
Because that was the moment they get into his computer and they see this stuff about making the giant squids. And so I'm
yeah.
I guess the counter argument to the point of that's a really stupid password is that he wanted them to find the files so that they would come and meet him and everything. Because like he was the world's smartest man, so he was like proud of his like own plan, and like villains always want to share their plans.
Yeah.
So. Okay, I love the part.
Movie.
I love the part where he's like, "I'm not some comic hero. I did it 30 minutes ago."
Yeah, no, like he's just like, I only am expositing my plan to you because I set that thing off on a 5-minute timer 4.5 minutes ago. It's too late. You can't do shit. I totally like.
I love that,
dude. We were talking about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should probably start wrapping up. Like closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Pokemon. They are damn solid RPGs. Like. I'm not faulting that. They are really enjoyable. I have had a great time with them. And variety and shifts be damned, just like with Call of Duty. They're still fun. Like, they haven't, like, deteriorated in quality. They haven't changed a ton, but they haven't, like, gotten worse. They haven't lost
quality, which...
And they've gained some things. Like, external trappings. If I go back to, like, the original Red and I'm like, I don't go like, this is such, like, a superior game. Because it's less... it is less balanced. The visuals are far worse. The sound effects are simpler. It's just kind of like natural progression. And I'm not saying that the trappings are everything, but with a base concept that's this simple, and Pokemon really is at its core of simple game, the trappings help. Again, like just adding a... I'm sorry, I'm totally like...
No, it's fine.
But adding like a simple little thing like having your lead follow you around is immensely like mood changing because you're just like... It forms a sort of like a... This is my Pokemon. It matters to my avatar, and thus it matters to me subconsciously. You're not actually like, this my avatar clearly likes this Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will say, I'm moderately excited for Pokemon X and Y. I'm glad that they're actually trying something new with the series.
The legendaries look awesome.
I am a bit hesitant given that we had Black and White, and then Black and White 2 just like 2 years later, and now 1 year later we have X and Y. But presumably that's because they had different teams working on X and Y because it's a completely new game for a new system.
Alternatively, you could just debate that kind of like ODST, for like Halo 3, I'm adding Halo 3. It wasn't called that, but that's what
it was. It was called Halo 3.
Yeah,
I think it was Halo 3 ODST because it was the same engine and it was the same multiplayer.
It might have been. Yeah, but no, like, it's kind of like that where it's just sort of like a, not really, like Black and White 2 basically was the equivalent of kind of like a DLC thing, and they made bunches of tiny changes, but nothing that really mattered, like enough that it warranted a separate game, as far as I'm aware. If you're a hardcore Pokemon fan or you really like Black and White, obviously it might be worth it, but it's kind of like not that much.
So yeah,
yeah.